Hello there guys, it's Joey, and I said I would record the Yule Altar when it was up. So first and foremost, I don't have the big altar space at the minute because there has been a rearranging of furniture, and it basically means that the stand on which I was having my seasonal altar is inaccessible, so I don't have that larger space. There will be bits added to the Morrigan altar, but given that's largely about my relationship with her and the seasons, that's private, and I don't tend to share the little bits that get added to the Morrigan altar in order to sort of celebrate her energies through the festivities. So that's a little bit more of a private thing. So that's why it isn't a bigger altar this year. And it kind of fits with where everything is energy-wise anyway. There's something kind of muted this year about the season, and I talked about it in my Selenite video about why I was going to incorporate Selenite into this particular altar with, you know, going forward from Yule, working into the full moon and the cleansing energies that are coming up. And Yule is about the dark half and the light half of the year. It's about the transition between the two. And to that effect, I wanted selenite on this altar, and there is a fair bit of selenite, and I will move the camera around so you can see all the bits and pieces and talk a little bit about the altar setup and why. But really, for the meanings of selenite, the reasons for selenite, I've just done a whole video, and if you want to hear all about selenite and all its amazing glory, that video is right there, brand new. I can't wish without selenite. So that's why it's part and parcel of the Yule altar, is explained better in depth in that video. So what you can't see down on the floor, and I will move them so you can see, is that both Big Mama and a swan feather are part and parcel of this altar, but they're on the bottom, they're on the floor, and I can't really move the camera around that much, it's a bit awkward. And this is part and parcel of the healing and the cleansing that goes along at Yule. So we have the swan feather, which frequently gets used for cleansing ritual, and Big Mama healing crystal. She's wonderful for that. Big Mama, if you haven't seen her before, is a cluster of snow quartz, strawberry quartz, and quartz. Lots of quartz, and I've had her a few years now, and she's my favourite healing crystal. She's beautiful. So then on the mini spell altar itself, we are burning some of Nadia's incense. This is the Winter Magic. I'm probably going to be burning some of her incense all throughout Yule. It's beautiful, absolutely incredible stuff. It's gorgeous, smells lovely. It's burning so beautifully, it's lovely. And is this really, why is that seeming so close in for a full zoom out? It seems, okay, whatever. Right, and it's me and my Virgo-ness. Right, so on balance we have this beautiful new piece of selenite, a big piece for real cleansing, real purifying, real healing work. And selenite is a crystal that I use to bring the light in, and I use it alongside a black crystal, in this case a tourmaline. And the tourmaline is the dark crystal, the grounder crystal, the destroyer crystal. Gets rid of all the crap, just destroys it, gets rid of it, grounds it, back to earth, back to base. No, get rid, I don't know what I'm doing. There you go. So the black and the white are in balance here. However, because we are entering into the light half of the year, I quite like the idea of the selenite being a bit bigger, because basically in times gone by they would celebrate the Winter Solstice to entice the return of the light. I'm so tempted to go, Return of the King! You cannot prevent the return of the king. Right, anyway, no. Lord of the Rings, stop. That's what I do on Christmas Day, is watch Lord of the Rings. It's traditional. And over here on the dark half of the year, we have the little silver pewter dish. Let's zoom in a little and twist. Zoom in and twist. This is some of my Mama M black salt, which there's a video on the channel all about Mama M black salt, which is my personal black salt from Morrigan, and you can buy that on the store if you so desire. But I love this stuff, if I do say so myself, and I did, and I don't care, so nah. I love it. I love it for cleansing out, love it for grounding, love it for protection. It works really, really well. I've been using it alongside all sorts of things lately, and it's straight to the point, very much as Mama Morrigan is, and working with it in a protective vibe, it really does help to bring to light things that you need to be aware of, you need to be pre-warned of, yeah, you need to make sure you're keeping an eye on, that sort of thing. It's amazing. It's all round incredible, and Mama had a lot of say in it. So then there's this beautiful star dish which I got today. I found it and I was like, oh, that's pretty good, that's pretty good. It was quite cheap. It was £2. It was from Asda, and I was like, oh wow, okay. So there may be a reason why this altar didn't come together before today. Maybe that, you know, that was part of the reason. So I was kind of pleased by that. We have the Selenite obelisk at the front, and from years gone by you may have seen these before. These are little white shimmery Christmas tree tea lights, and they were from John Lewis originally, but they are 2 or 3 years old now, maybe 2. How long have I been on YouTube? How long have I don't know. Right, and years. And at the back here we have the gateway of selenite and the gateway of labradorite. I will focus in on the star on the inside in a minute, I promise. And there's another hiding Christmas tree back there. There you go. You can see the beautiful labradorite. And so, gateways. I like having gateways in my altar. I like having height in working spell altars, seasonal altars. The idea of having a little bit more height on your altar is something that I really love. Working with three-dimensional imagery, bringing in levels in your spell work, levels in your altar, and having a doorway. So now, technically speaking, January 1st is not my new year. My new year is Samhain, Halloween, 31st of October. So it's not about a new year for me. It is, however, the crossing of a threshold, and the crossing of a threshold from the dark half to the light half of the year is a big deal for the Celts. They saw the year in terms of dark half and light half, and that was very entrenched into the mythos. So I like that, and I like having a doorway within a doorway. So the labradorite is within the selenite. So your selenite's your light doorway, your light coming back, and then your labradorite is your temple. Your temple of the stars is what labradorite is known as, and we do have a star in the middle. And stars, of course, are very close to my heart. I am a starry-eyed little lady, and you know, my story's starry-eyed supplies, and it's a long thing. I mean, the starry-eyed little lady goes way back. So that's been one of my usernames for a long, long time, since I was 15. 15 years I've been attached to starry-eyed little lady. That's me. And so stars have a beautiful significance around this time of the year anyway. Yes, there are Christian connotations of it. I personally don't feel the need to do this one-upmanship thing that keeps happening around this time of the year. Oh, well, this is from the pagans, and this is from the Christians, or Christians are losing out the spirit of Christmas. Oh, well, the Christians stole this from the pagans. It's like, who cares? It just embrace the beauty of the year, what's going on in the seasons, and some of the positive attributes, you know? And stars, for us, for pagans specifically, for witches, have a deep symbolism. And I'm not personally Christian. Live and let live as far as I'm concerned, as long as, you know, as long as you're decent to me, I'm decent to you, that's fine. As far as other spiritual and religious paths go. But for me, the star is very much about the elements, the balance. It's perhaps a very overt symbol of what it is to be a witch, and it's one of the first identifiable symbols that sort of reaches into our consciousness and goes, this is associated with paganism, this is associated with witches. Where does this come from? Is this a cosmic element going on? Am I being guided? Is this my path? And I like having all of that in Yule because it reminds me where I've come from, as well as being a star, a guide, a light going forward into the new year. And it really balances up beautifully with the symbolism of Labradorite being the temple of the stars. So then, of course, the centerpiece is a great big giant star. As we have already just talked about, you know, it has that beautiful symbolism within witchcraft and paganism and so on and so forth. And it will mean something slightly different to each person, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that it has a little bit of something personal, even though it's such a big symbol within spiritual paths, spiritual leanings. So zooming in, slowly apparently, come on camera, within the centre here we have one of my Bave's Little Deaths spell votives. Again, I make these, and you can have one of these should you so desire. I love them. I love working with Bave. She's the crone aspect of the Morrigan. Although, of course, there is, as always, debate about whether or not you should call the crone aspect of the Morrigan Bave. I do. I think it just flows naturally and comes easily, and I can see her in both, you know, a whole aspect, although a complete shapeshifter aspect, as well as titling her Bave, if you like. I've just realised I want something else on this altar. Just have a look at that star a minute, it's only over there, I'll grab it. Oh, so professional. Can you hear it? I'll show you in a minute once we finish this. Right. Eho then. Within the centre of this star, as I said, there is the candle for Bave, the crone aspect of the Morrigan. And it's interesting to me that within the mythos, there's actually a line where Morrigan wakes up Lugh. And if you aren't aware, Lugh is a Celtic sun god. And there's a line, and the line is very much like wake up Lugh, and I was just reading this recently again, like refreshing myself. I like to go back and refresh myself on the lore because memory ain't what she used to be. And it's good to go back and refresh yourself on what you've already read, lore-wise particularly, just so it brings up a clarity, a remembrance, a sort of grounding yourself in the lore and making sure you know what you're talking about. And which is important. It's so important, rather than just making it up, you know. And I like that. I like the idea of Morrigan waking up Lugh, ready for battle, like getting him ready to fight. And that imagery works a little bit better with me in regards to this point of the year, because the stereotypical imagery for paganism, which is kind of based on the sort of modern Wicca, is the sun god being born. And it's not that I've had trouble with it, it's just, I don't know. I perhaps I'm just closer to crone energy naturally. It just feels closer to where I am along my path, particularly whether my age has nothing to do with it, and I don't think that necessarily age has anything to do with which aspect of the goddess you most identify with. I think it obviously becomes easier to relate to certain aspects of the goddess when you're going through that yourself, because you're relating your personal experiences to a goddess, but I think at every stage of life you can relate to every aspect, in my opinion, you know. There you go. So I like the idea of having the crone and the light and the bringing back of the light, and the white being the funeral colour, by the way, the original funeral colour for the longest time. it was more prominent to have a white at a funeral rather than black, although there is some history of black being used, particularly in the Roman Empire, which I think we've acquired most of our dating and things like that from. Dating is in calendars rather than date like a Roman. That could be interesting. Call me Hollywood. I've got a dating show idea. Yeah. And then within this star, I have some of my Winter Crown of Trees herbal blend. You can see that, yeah, and then a piece of selenite into each corner of the star, which I really like in terms of spell work. And it's kind of a burst of light coming out of that star and that birth. And I like that because when you think about it, the sun is a star and the stars burst into life and burst out of life, and they, you know, they explode into being, and that burst of light, that burst of amazing energy. But at the same time, selenite is more of a lunar crystal. You're saying, Joe, that doesn't make sense to me, Miss Morris. Why do you have the idea of a bursting light which is related to the sun, and then you have a lunar crystal? Well, I say to you, well spotted. I have it because the day of Christmas actually falls on the full moon. So I kind of want that burst of that star solar energy being in conjunction with the fact that we are coming on serious moon energies. I like it a lot. So there you go. And I have explained why selenite in a lot more depth in the selenite video, so I'm not going to do it all again. So, what was that tingly Joe? Well, I received two things today from Wild Spirit Weaver. Yes, I'm obsessed with Wild Spirit Weaver. Yes, I will continue to support Wild Spirit Weaver and her art because I love it. I think it's amazing. And I purchased two things which have become part of my path quite a lot. And this has a bit of sellotape on it. Bear with me. There you go. Oh. The first thing, oh goodness, it smells so good. It smells like paint. Sorry. Right, is this beautiful white crow art image. And the minute I saw it, I was like, mine, along with the next thing. Now I want to read to you. So I don't know if I can get it all in shot, but I will. That's most of it in shot. Right. Born from a golden serpent's egg on the winter solstice under a birch tree, white crow takes to the sky with the new sun, each day flying higher westward until the time of the summer solstice. This came today. Perfect. Perfect. Right. And there you go. There's the white crow and the labyrinth and the crow and the energy of the sun and the golden egg imagery and the silver birch with the spirit crow on top. This kind of imagery I'm going to pop at the back of the altar and hope it will stand up. It probably won't because I'm doing it on camera and I'm clumsy as anything, which, you know, people may not notice from my videos, but I am a clumsy girl. Right, if I move you slightly forward, will you stand up, please? Please, please. Please do it. Haha, success. Right, it's not quite centre. Oh god, inner Virgo is going to ruin everything. There we go. There we go, that's dead centre-ish. That'll do for now, if I move it about. Right, so there you go. That is now part of the altar, along with another thing, which will jingle jangle. The other thing is this tiny antler tip made into, let's move it, a white crow head with bells. So having bells at the winter solstice, in fact most solstices, can be really wonderful because bells are very cleansing. There's something very fae-like about bells. You know, a lot of the entrances into the fae world were to do with branches, boughs, quite often apple, but not always. and bells, and they will allow you into the realm of the Fae. And if you've been following me, you know that the realm of the Fae is very possibly a Christianization of the realm of the Celtic gods. Not to say that they don't exist independently, and both exist. That's not what I was saying at all, but within the mythos, in the Celtic myth, the two align, and there is Bell mythology within the Celtic myth is what I'm trying to say. So, I'm just going to pop that. Will you sit over here, or are you just going to fall off? You might just fall off. Hang on. Again. We will find out. You're going to just hang for me? No. Do we have anything we can... Will you hang like that? Will you hang like that? If I just stretch you over a bit? Please? No? Alright. I might just hang you off one of the Selenites then. Right, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit while I attempt this. So if you are on the Starry Eyed Facebook page, which please do go check out and like, because once we get to 3,000 likes we will definitely do another giveaway. I posted about White Crow imagery and some pictures and some information and some feelings and some spiritual sort of lessons to do with White Crow imagery a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, something like that. And it was just my thoughts and feelings on the deep symbolism of the White Crow, because that doesn't really work. Maybe you want to go just flat. Okay. I know. How about if we just pop you down like this and you just, yeah. Okay, there we go. That'll do. I give up. I'm trying to hang it, but never mind. And I was talking about the fact that the White Crow as a symbol has been coming up for me a lot lately. It actually came up again this morning within a crow group, which I am in on Facebook. And I, out of hand, kind of rejected it being about Branwen, which is the sister of the god Bran, because I don't feel any affiliation particularly for the goddess Branwen. And I've never had her call, I've never had her appear, and never anything like that. And so it just doesn't slot with how I feel about my particular path. And although she's a Celtic mythos goddess, sorry, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't sit with me. It doesn't resound within the energy aura. And I was like, why am I seeing all this crow imagery, white crow imagery at that? Because crow imagery I'm followed around on a daily basis, as well as crows. And I came to really feel that it was one of these things that is associated with the crone aspect of the goddess. Morrigan, again, with bathe. And it's not in the lore. So purists aren't going to agree with me, but I really feel that the white crow is very, very associated with the crone aspect. And that's what I'm celebrating here. The crone aspect, very much so, and embracing the solar into those particular energies as well, and the male and female being present in all, and being present in the crone as well as being present in the young god energies. So that's my Yule Altar. I'm really happy with its meaning, with how it turned out. It is obviously a lot smaller than some of them in past years gone by, but I did want to record it, have a little chat about it, and just show these couple of little things. This art imagery is mwah, mwah, by Wild Spirit Weaver. She's on Etsy, and I love the little crow amulet. I love her white crow artwork, and it's really, it came today, it was perfect, you know, just in time for the longest night, and it's going to give me something to meditate on and something to take with me and something to expand upon in my consciousness. I'm getting images of white crows even just talking and looking at this image, so I have a feeling that that message is going to go forward with me, very much so, moving through the gateways into 2016. So that is my somewhat simple, but I like it a lot, Yule Altar for this year. I hope you enjoyed this video, and many blessings.